Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to J Wall Sports. We are back here with another episode.
Another. Hey, Pistol,
This,
our receiver, hit my line. Hit my line.
what is up with you in this? When you bench your seasoned veteran quarterback this late in the season, it's sending a message to the team.
Then goes out. And now they want to play with some heart. They want to play with some effort.
I see why Doc got fired. If you're not going to make the adjustments as a coach, you need to go up and get up out of here.
Wentz has regressed. And it's a mental.
Disclaimer. He might have some outrageous, Max Kellerman type, things to say today. I don't know what he's gonna say, but the way he's starting off his video is giving me them vibes.
What's up, J Wall Sports fans? Welcome back to another episode, and it is Thursday, so we are live on the Colorcasta app. So if you guys have not been up to date with us, we are live on the Colorcasta app every Thursday. That's every Thursday at 12 o'clock or 11 p.m. Central Time. As always, I got my guy, Nyshawn Anderson, with me, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, bro. How you?
Hey, man, I can't complain. Everything's going good on my end. I'm glad to be back on the Colorcast live, talking sports with my guy, Hey, see, I'm hyped. I'm hyped.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's go ahead and start things off. We're going to go to our prediction review. Nyshawn was killing it this week for the predictions. He had 11 correct predictions, and he was only wrong on 3 games. So congratulations to Nyshawn. 2 wins in a row, 2 weeks in a row. Hey, I commend you, man. You're doing a good job out there. I wasn't too far behind, I predicted 11 games right, but I had 11 games right, but I had 5 wrong. I'm sorry, Nyshawn, you had 13 games right. I said you had 11. You had 13 games right. I had 11 games correct, and I had 5 incorrect. Nyshawn, it's 2 in a row for you for the 2021 NFL season. How you feeling about it so far?
Hey, look, man. For those that don't know, on the Colorcast, I'm just a prediction guy. I'm always gonna be right for the majority of the time. I was right now. It'd be a playoff prediction record. Those who don't know, called Aaron Rodgers being an MVP last year. So, and now I'm off to, a 2-0 start against Lamar first couple weeks in that season. So, what future say? Life is good. You feel me? Life is good.
I feel you, man. You've been killing on the predictions this week, man. I've been coming close, but it's 2 games, man. I was behind 2 games this week, so I'm catching up on you. Last week I was behind like 4-5 games, but I'm behind 2 games this time, man.
Hey, look. You're not playing horseshoes. We ain't aiming for close.
Hey, I like progress for myself. Especially with it being week 2, we on week 4 now. I have a little bit to base the season off of, like how did they play, who did they play against. Like we talked about in the beginning, we were talking about Aaron Rodgers. I was like, well, now I don't know how to evaluate the Panthers, nor do I know how to evaluate Green Bay, because it was odd wins for y'all. Does that make sense? I mean, not Green Bay, but not the Panthers, but the Saints. I did not evaluate the Saints coming up against y'all because it was an awkward situation. Like they blew them out. It wasn't a real competition. I couldn't really tell. So now that we're in week 4, I see myself, slowly coming back. It's all right. We'll slowly make it back.
I hear you. But time will tell.
For sure.
So we're not going to hold y'all up. Let's go ahead and get into the first topic of the day. Josh Gordon signs with the Kansas City Chiefs. Tuesday, Josh Gordon signed a deal with the Kansas City Chiefs to be on the practice squad, but the expectations of promotion to the active roster will follow shortly, according to ESPN. Although he is not on the active roster yet, how do you think Josh will affect this team?
man, I think Josh is going to affect this team in a positive way if he can play how we expect him to play. You know, Josh Gordon, we know he's had the off the field Yeah, Josh Gordon, he's had the off the field problems, but when he's on the field, he's one of the top receivers in the NFL. In 63 games, he's had a total of 4,252 total receiving yards. He's caught 53% of his targets, and he averages 17.2 yards per catch. If he can come in and let's cut that 17.2 yards in half. If he can get 9, we'll say about 9. If he can get 9 yards per catch, and he catches, at least 30, 40% of his catches, like that'll open up so much more for Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, who are leading the Chiefs in receiving yards. So I think he'll be able to affect them in a positive way, but I don't think it'll be, anytime soon. He's on the practice squad right now. So I probably think we'll see him by maybe like week 7. And I think we'll see him be a very intricate piece in this offense by at least week 12 or the playoff time.
Yeah, man. I do believe he can be a good addition to this team. The Chiefs have a lot of speed receivers, and what they're lacking is kind of a big receiver. Somebody could just go out there, and regardless of if he's open or not, he's going to go out there and try to make a play for you. And I believe that's what Josh Gordon can do. And he also can be an option for the Chiefs on third down. Don't really have Mahomes doesn't have like a reliable target he can trust on third down. You have a lot of speedsters and Tyreek Hill, McCall Hardman, and then you have the big tight end Travis Kelce. You can't throw to Kelce every time third down comes. So I think adding Josh Gordon can be a big help to Mahomes and just having another big target, like you said, on his averages throughout his career. The only thing is if he can stay in the league. So that's the biggest question mark. I do believe he can be a good fit for this team if he stays on the right mindset, on the right course, and do things he needs to do to help this team win. And we already know that the Kansas City Chiefs can win. And you're adding a speedster and a veteran who already, been in the NFL, knows the league, to Andy Reid's offense. It's going to look scary if he can stay on the right track. And Andy Reid knows how to use anybody. We already know it's a great play caller when it comes to the offensive side. So it'll be interesting to see how they use him. It'll be interesting to see how they use him.
All right, I agree with you, man. That's going to be the interim piece, like how they use them. Them being on third down, that you said they don't have a third down, option they can go to. They do, but it's Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Like those are teams, like two people that they're going to watch every time. Like no matter what, they're going to be, oh, where's Travis Kelce? Where's Tyreek Hill? Now, Miko Hardman, and it's two more receivers that they're really like looking at, and they've been giving them a lot of extra minutes, but they just haven't been panning out. So it's finding a replacement for them, and there we go. It's Mikola Hardman, the Demarcus Robinson, and Brian Pringle. Those three have been trying to fill the void of Sammy Watkins, because Sammy Watkins was that option for Patrick Mahomes last year. Without having Sammy Watkins in there, they're trying to replace him, and when they're trying to replace him, it's just not working so far. But I think this team will be able to fix those problems soon. So moving on, first game of this weekend, that'll be today. We have the Bengals taking on the Jaguars. The two number one overall picks will face off for the first time in their young NFL career. Who will have the better performance? Trevor Lawrence, the 2021 number one overall pick, or Joe Burrow, the 2020 number one overall pick?
I'm had to go with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow looks like he's picking up where he's left off before the injury. Offensive line still needs some help, but it's always good to have someone you're familiar with. Having Jamar Chase has really helped Joe Burrow out. He's thrown at least one touchdown to him in the first 3 games of the season. And the offense looks really good so far. So they could keep the run game going with Joe Mixon, and Burrow has the arm, and they have a couple playmakers he can throw to. So I do believe Joe Burrow had a better night. Trevor Lawrence I don't want to say hasn't looked good, but you can tell he's struggling adjusting to the NFL. In high school and college, he never really lost a regular season game. And the Jaguars are only 3, so I know this is a lot to process as for a young kid who's so familiar with winning. Trevor Lawrence has thrown 7 interceptions in only 3 weeks of the season and only having 5 touchdown passes. So it's going to be a long season for the Jags and for the rookie quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. Also, you have a reminder head coach is kind of adjusting back to being back in the NFL from being absent for so long. I think he said, it's like game planning for defenses every week. It's like playing Alabama. So it kind of goes to say, like, all right, it's a process. It's not going to take 1 or 2 years. It's going to take about 4 or 5 years to really get things going. But now to see Joe Burrow playing better, he has a lot more weapons. And the Bengals defense really doesn't look that bad. So I'm going with Joe.
Yeah, man, I'm 100% with you, man. I'm also going to go with Joe Burrow. I feel like Joe Burrow is he is the more experienced quarterback. 640 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, completing 70.7% of his passes, while Trevor Lawrence, he has more total passing yards at 669, but, less touchdowns, more interceptions with 5 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, 54% completion percentage. I see that Bengals defense, getting 1 or 2 from Trevor Lawrence. And like you said, like they are trying to adjust to life in the NFL, as we can say. And that's Trevor Lawrence and that's Urban Meyer. Like you said, Urban Meyer, he has to prepare for the defenses every week. And that's like playing Alabama every week because there are players everywhere on every NFL team, even the Houston Texans. They got some players on that defensive end. With Trevor Lawrence, I come to a realization that, when you come from good programs, like extremely good programs, like we know Clemson, extremely good program. He didn't lose a regular season game in high school, extremely good program. You're going to have 5 stars everywhere. And when you have 5 stars everywhere, life is simpler. Like Kyler Murray, he didn't have 5 stars everywhere around him, but that helped him for when he had to go to the NFL because now he knows protection isn't going to always be there. He knows how to scramble. He knows how to protect himself. When Kyler Murray first came into the league, he was the best scrambling quarterback, young scrambling quarterback, as protecting himself. So I feel like when you go through a little adversity in high school, in college with your lines, with your receivers, you come out a little bit better in the NFL because NFL is all about adjusting on the fly. And when you got to adjust on the fly in high school and college, it just prepares you so much more. And I think that's what Trevor Lawrence is lacking at this point.
And there's only one way to go through that, and that's just continue to build and grow every week. So it's going to take a while, and hate to see it for him coming. And like you said, good programs, and they come to one of the worst teams in the league. So it's learning.
That's just how the draft works, man. That's just how the draft works. When you perform well in college, you got to go to the worst team, pretty much, and you gotta build that program or that organization back up.
Yeah. Like I'm saying, sometimes it be like that sometimes, and it just happens to be like that for Joe. I mean, not Joe. Trevor. But moving on to your Vikings, Lamar. Sunday, the Vikings hosted the Seahawks, and they got their first win of the season. Cousins has an amazing performance, throwing for 323 yards on 38.
Sir Kurt.
Completing 30 or 38 attempts. Lamar, how did it feel to get your team's first victory over the Seahawks?
For our first victory to be over a playoff team with no Dalvin Cook, I'm extremely happy. That was a really good win. I saw it was there last week. In week 2. against the Cardinals. It was there. We just didn't finish. Our kicker didn't make the field goal. So I wasn't too worried coming in against the Seahawks. I was wondering how we were going to contain Russell Wilson. But we did overall a really good job, defense and offense. Alexander Madison was the starting running back for us. He had 112 yards on 26 carries. That was good. He made up for Dalvin Cook, and that's what we needed. We needed a player to make up for what Dalvin Cook does for our offense. And when we get the run game going, we're one of the best in the league. We just got to keep consistently getting that run game going. Kirk Cousins, he's been playing out of his mind this season. He's had 0 interceptions, and I'm going to knock on wood while I say that. Hopefully he don't throw one this week. And according to Pro Football Focus, he's the most accurate quarterback when he has a clean pocket. So as long as we get protection, he's going to find Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. And Justin Jefferson, that man is going to be a star in this league. And it's really surprising him how good he is since we traded Stephon Diggs. Essentially, we traded Stephon Diggs for him, but it was a draft pick, and we ended up drafting Justin Jefferson. But it was a seamless fit. But yeah, I'm super excited. I'm super proud of this thing.
Yeah, man, because I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Once I saw Dalvin Cook was out, I was like, ooh, I don't know. But yeah, like you said, y'all played very well, especially not having Dalvin Cook in the game, and the running back finished 412 rushing yards and 26 attempts. So it's very good to see. And like you said, Kirk Cousins has looked very well so far this season. So it was a very impressive win. And was it in Seattle? I believe it was in Seattle.
I believe it was in Seattle.
Yeah, so that's a really impressive one right there. And also, it was a big one for y'all because 6 out of 182 teams have made the playoffs after starting 0-3. And that's only a 3.2% chance of making the playoffs. So that was a very big win for y'all moving forward for the season. It's very hard for teams to rebound after starting the season off 0-3. So it was a good first victory, a very good first victory for y'all. So maybe I can pick it up from there. I know y'all played Carolina this season, so I ain't gonna say too much on that. But
hey man, we ready for Carolina. Ready for Carolina.
Sounds good.
We have a very tough schedule. So making the playoffs this year is going to be interesting to see unfold because the schedule is it's brutal, honestly. I really think strength of schedule, we could be in the top 3 for strength of schedule because we played Cincinnati. Cincinnati's been good this year. We played Arizona, playoff team. We played Seattle, playoff team. We got Detroit, another playoff team. We got Carolina, playoff team. Dallas, playoff team. Baltimore, playoff team. Green Bay, playoff team. San Francisco, playoff team. Pittsburgh, playoff team. We got the Rams, and we got Green Bay again. The only playoff teams we don't face this season are the Detroit Lions, maybe the San Diego Chargers, and maybe the Chicago Bears. I don't know. I like their chances high with Justin Fields being their quarterback. But it's a tough schedule. So that if we don't make the playoffs this year, I won't be 100% mad at us because we're playing playoff teams every game. They're going to come down to a lot of them are probably going to come down to the wire. So, hey, extremely happy for him to get this win over a playoff team. It shows us that we can beat playoff teams, so we should make the playoffs this year, but we just got to consistently do it. Yeah. So, moving on, we got Derick Carr and the Raiders. For the first time, the two have started the season off with a record of 3-0. It's the first time in 19 years for the Raiders, dating all the way back to when they were the Oakland Raiders. I mean, the Raiders, they have legit wins this season. They got wins over the Ravens, they have wins over the Steelers, and they have win over the Dolphins. How impressed are you with the Raiders this season, Ashawn?
Hey man, I'm very impressed with how this team's looked so far. But the real question is how long can it last? Because last couple of seasons, the Raiders have had good starts and they always kind of fumble the bag midway through the season. But I don't believe that's going to happen this year. This team, like, it's found its groove. Gruden has found his groove in coaching, given that he, took some time away. And now he's had about 4 or 5 years to actually build the team the way he actually wants to mold the team. And you can tell offensively and defensively. So this team looks really good. And Derek Carr is balling out of his mind so far. Like, over 1,000 yards, only been 3 weeks into the season, which is really crazy. So just imagine how many he's going to throw for by the time week 17 comes, which is really crazy to think about. And they have a run game with Josh Gordon. You have weapons with Darren Waller, Henry Ruggs III. You got reliable slot receiver in Hunter Renfrow. And like you said, they got Renzo, the Ravens, the Steelers. It's kind of iffy on the Steelers right now. But still a quality win in Pittsburgh and the Dolphins. So I'm very impressed, and I think they have found their groove. So I think it's time to wake up the league and to let them know that Oakland is back.
Yeah, man, I completely agree with you, man. They are really balling this season. The team is number one in the NFL on the offensive side of the ball, averaging 471 yards per game. Derek Carr, like you said, man, he hooping. He hooping, bro. He hooping like Jordan fourth quarter 92, man. Like 1,203 yards. That's first in the NFL. He's got 6 touchdowns already, only 2 interceptions, and he's completed 64% of his passes. I mean, he's hitting different targets. Like they have four different receivers with 200 plus yards. You got Henry Ruggs, Darren Waller, Brian Edwards, and Hunter Renfrow. All have 200 plus yards. The defense has been impressive. They're ranked 14th in the NFL total yards allowed with 355 total yards of offense allowed in this game. And the way that their schedule is set up, they're going to make the playoffs if they continue on this pace. They got the Chargers this week. They got Chicago following them. They got Denver. Then they got Philadelphia. I mean, really, they're going to beat Chicago. They're going to beat Philly. Then following that, they got New York. Then they got Kansas City. Then they got the Bengals. That's another win. And then after that, they got a straight playoff team. So they got time to adjust all the way until week 12 when they play Dallas. That's a lot of time for you to adjust and play with different offensive matchups that you can throw in there, different plays, and if they do this, we get to do that. You get so much more film on teams. So I think they'll probably make the playoffs, and they're really impressing me. But I'm not going to be 100% on them making the playoffs until we get to like week 6, week 7, and I see how they play because in the middle of the season is when they usually die down. But John Gruden is putting out a good product right now.
Yeah, he definitely is, and like I said, they always kind of stumble toward the midway part of the season. So I'm impressed, but now it's a real test, and this is where y'all kind of die down or fumble the bag through this portion of the season. This is where the true test comes in for the Raiders organization.
Right. I mean, my true test for them is going to be how they play against teams like Chicago. Chicago's a pretty good team, but they're struggling right now. And I think under Justin Fields, like I said, they will play better because I'm just high on Justin Fields over Andy Dalton. But that's a whole nother topic. But that's a team they should beat. And if that's a team that you should beat, it's about how you beat teams. We talked about this last year with the Steelers. And when they were 11-0, 12-0, all the Steelers fans, they was out there like, yeah, we're 12-0, we're 12-0. But you're 12-0 and you're going against the You're going against teams that you should beat the brakes off of, and you are winning by a touchdown or a late game field goal. It's about how you win games is really big for me. How you win games. If you're supposed to beat a team by 20 points and you beat them by a late game field goal, I'm going to be suspect of you.
I expect that. Let's moving on. The Rams versus the Bucks. The game of the week lived up to the hype as Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams took down the reigning NFL champions 34-24. Tom Brady threw 41 passes on 55 attempts for 132 yards and only one touchdown, when Matthew Stafford threw the ball 38 times, completing 31 passes for 343 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. What grade would you give Matthew Stafford?
Matthew Stafford gets an A+, man. I ain't even gonna try to sugarcoat it. He gets an A+. You went to Tom Brady and you beat him by 10. He didn't beat him on a late game field goal. He beat him by 10 points. So that speaks. Let's give flowers to the defense, because the defense was a very intricate part. But Matthew Stafford had to be able to put up those points so they could hang with the Buccaneers. I mean, if that was Jared Goff, this would be a lot closer game. And not to throw shade on Jared Goff, but Matthew Stafford can go off script, and that's what Sean McVay wants. Sean McVay wants somebody that can go off script. 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 343 passing yards, and he only did not complete 11 passes. I mean, Deshaun Jackson, he played a big role. He came in, he had 3 catches, and that was 420 yards. So I'm very impressed about this offense as a whole. I mean, you can see when you have a quarterback that can go off script, you see like how much better a team can look. So, and then they also had Cooper Kupp. He had 9 receptions for 96 yards. I would like them to see them get their run game more established. I want to see Sean McVay, focus on that run game, because I think the run game, you need to hit at least 100 yards per game. You need to hit around that 100 yards per game area, and if you can hit that, I feel very confident saying that this Rams team can make it to a Super Bowl. Now, will it make it to the Super Bowl? Not 100% sure. I got to see some more adversity coming from this Rams team. See how they play. Are they going to, like I said in the last tape, are they going to beat the teams that they're supposed to beat by a big margin? Are they going to play around with teams? Because you play around with teams, then that gives that team confidence to come back.
Yeah, man, I gave him the same grade, an A+. He balled out against the defending champs. And Matthew Stafford said he wanted to go somewhere where he could be in the spotlight and show, what else he has. And the spotlight was on him Sunday, and he showed up and showed out. We all know Tom Brady doesn't like pressure in his face, and the Rams defense applied a lot of pressure to Tom Brady's face. And that was the recipe for beating him, man. I told Lamarck on the phone, off the screen, to the people that, may watch this on YouTube, all the people listening on Colorcast, I can bet against regular season Tom Brady, but I am not betting against playoff Tom Brady. And Matthew Stafford was able to shred this Bucs defense apart, which I wasn't really expecting. I was expecting, a close, low-scoring game, but like you said, Deshaun Jackson had 3 catches for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns, I believe. So, hey, man, they're looking good. Offense is looking good. Defense is looking stout. And like you said, I don't know about the playoffs because they're both in the NFC and they got to play Brady again. Brady's going to have a chip on his shoulder. So.
And you got to think they got to go through Kansas City. I know Kansas City, they don't look so hot right now, but I'm not counting them out yet. It's early. It's extremely early. But
Kansas City is in the AFC. You good?
What I just said. But yeah, they still got to go through it. Either way, to hold up that Lombardi Trophy, they got to go through. I'm saying they're gonna have to go through Kansas City. And they're gonna have to go through Green Bay. I'm not gonna count them out yet. They gotta go through y'all because y'all are one of the undefeated teams, which I believe on quarterback. And I'm gonna say they gotta go through us too. So, hey, look, we got a bad start now, but we gonna pick things up. So, one of the big things that's going to happen this season, and it's so anticipated that we are looking forward to, and that's the return of Tom Brady. Tom Brady will return to New England for the first time since 2019. The presumptuous first ballot Hall of Famer spent 19 years with the organization, winning 7 Super Bowls, making 14 Pro Bowl appearances, and winning 3 MVP. What kind of performance do you expect to see from Tom Brady?
Well, I expect Brady to bounce back after a loss. And it starts to say that, it's going to be against a team that he spent 19 seasons with. But I believe this game is going to be closer than people expect. The Patriots defense can slow down this team and maybe give Matt Jones a chance to beat the legend. The pass defense rates top 5 in the NFL in yards allowed, while the Bucs offense ranks 2nd in passing yards a game. So it's going to be, Brady versus the old defense, which has gotten him a lot of these Super Bowls in the past. And it's going to feel like Westbrook versus KD when they first met, not as teammates kind of thing, That's
I can see it getting that vibe.
That's what I'm getting at. I can feel, like Tom Brady's KD. He got all the weapons for him. Then you got Belichick with Mac Jones as starting quarterback and a little defense, and run game's really not there. It's going to be interesting to see, but I do believe it might be a little closer than people expect. The Patriots defense has looked really good so far this season. And if they can get some pressure in Brady's face after watching that Rams-Bucs game, you never know what can happen. But I do believe the Bucs will win this, though, because Brady's going to be like, yeah, I still got it. You was trying to send me down. I ain't going for that bill, but.
Yeah, I somewhat agree with you. I think it's going to be a blowout. I think Tom Brady's going to put his foot all the way up the Patriots' 4-point of contact, and it's not going to be close, right? You got to think about it. Since Tom Brady signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the entire media platforms out there, they have been talking about who gets the most credit. Is it going to be Bill Belichick? Is it going to be Tom Brady? No, this is the time for Tom Brady to prove that I deserve more credit because your defense ain't crap, pretty much. If he throw for 500 on his defense, that is going to look really embarrassing because Bill Belichick, he prides himself on that defense, and that defense has been pretty much, I want to say the savior, but when they needed to, they put in work. Like that defense puts in work and they don't play. Like I think it was before the last Super Bowl that Tom Brady went to with the Patriots. No, during that time frame when we were arguing like who gets the most credit, it was very like the take was very new and very hot during that time. And Shannon Sharp, shout out to Uncle Shay, he said in playoffs, in the fourth quarter, Bill Belichick's defense, they averaged 3 points given up in the fourth quarter. That is really big. And I may be off on that just a little bit of the specifics of that. So that's going to be really big. Super, super big. So if he throws for 500 yards or it goes crazy, no interceptions, 4 or 5 touchdowns, that's going to look embarrassing to Belichick, and this is going to help Tom Brady's case. Like he already won a Super Bowl without Belichick. He was going to embarrass his defense that he has so much pride in. I mean, I hate it from Mac Jones, but like the Buccaneers defense, that's their dog. They're going to take that matchup just as serious as Tom Brady's going to take that matchup. So Mac Jones, like, if you see Shaq coming towards you, just pull a Tom Brady and just follow. It's okay. Nobody's gonna be mad at you for it.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be an interesting game to watch. I want to see what the before game interactions, would they actually talk, or just keep their distance, hit them with the little nod, and keep pushing. It's gonna be interesting to see.
I think they're gonna do some little stuff for TV, just because people gonna be out there. They're gonna shake hands, have them take a picture or two, be like, "Yeah, we're not beefing."
No, Tony, I can't stand you.
Right.
Exactly. You too, like that, coach.
Yeah, they go shake hands like, "Yeah, I got my ring without you." Mm-hmm. It's gonna be some other words. I think Psycho Tom may come out that game. And I can see Psycho Tom coming out.
Believe it. Moving on to your Vikings and their matchup this week. The Market Vikings will host the Cleveland Browns this week. What will your team need to do to get this victory over the Browns?
Man, this is gonna be a tough game, but like I said, Dalvin Cook, he's looking like he's gonna come back. He's very optimistic. Establish the run game. If you can establish the run game, it opens up doors for Kirk Cousins. If you can establish the run game, got to establish the run game. It's going to be difficult because Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett, 2 former number 1 overall picks, like they are legit. They are legit on both edges. So my right tackle, my left tackles, they're going to have some trouble. Protection is going to look weird. We might not run the ball as much because we're going to be so focused on that protection, but we're going to want some screen passes, some dink and dumps. We're going to have to try to get some of those going. We're going to try to pull some of those safeties in so we can run a play action and try to hit something deep to Justin Jefferson or Adam Thielen. If we can't establish the run game, we got to get Dalvin Cook working still out of the backfield, but off of short passes. If you don't see anything open and they're closing on too quick, we're going to hit Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook is great at breaking tackles and getting to that first down marker. Another thing we got to do is we got to protect Kirk Cousins. Like I said earlier, he's number 1 in Pro Football Focus when he has a clean pocket to throw from. So if we can get him to have a clean pocket, I think, we can at least make the game close. That's my thing. We're playing playoff teams. I want to see how we match up against them. It may not be this year, but if we can make strides every game, I can live with that for the next season because we do have a lot of young players. Our defense is very young, so I can work with that. On defense, it's because our defense isn't the best. So we're going to need to steal a drive or 2 from the Browns. Like how we did with the Cardinals. We went shot for shot with the Cardinals. Oh, Kyler Murray throws a touchdown. Kirk Cousins is going to throw a touchdown. We were going drive for drive with them. But the difference for us is that we were able to steal a drive from Kyler Murray. If we can steal 1 or 2 drives from Baker Mayfield, and Baker Mayfield, I think he will give up 1. If we can still drive from them, I think we can win this game. If we can get an interception or a fumble, we can win this game. But that's going to be hard. I mean, it's going to be a really tough matchup for us this week, and I'm excited to see how we're going to match up against it, just so as a learning curve.
Hey, man, the first thing I put is protect Kirk Cousins because Myles Garrett is coming off having a field day against the Bears. We had 4.5 sacks himself, and the defense was able to sack Justin Fields 9 times. And we all know Kirk Cousins is not moving like Justin Fields around in the pocket. So if they can't protect Kirk Cousins, it's going to be a long day for y'all. Hopefully Dalvin Cook can play and they can kind of establish the run. But the Browns are second in the league in sacks, so there's going to be a lot of pressure in Kirk Cousins' face. They have 12 sacks on the season so far. But defensively, like you said, the defense is not that good. In the games that you have lost, you have allowed over 100 yards rushing. And the Browns have 2 rushers can go for 100 yards on any given Sunday. Nick Chubb, I don't know what he can do. He's going to hit the hole. He's going to smack you in the face for 4 quarters. And then you have Kareem Hunt, who can also do the same thing and also catch a pass out in the backfield and make a big play. So I don't know about, causing the turnover because neither one of those people really fumble. And
I don't see them really fumbling the ball.
And if you just keep the ball on the ground and out of Kirk Cousins' hands, who's, like you said, is performing so well this season, including 70% of his passes, keep the ball out of his hands. And then when you do, when he does have the ball in his hand, apply enough pressure to maybe cause an unforced error and get a turnover that you talking about the Vikings can do. I believe the Browns can do it as well because they also have the 3rd-ranked defense in the NFL so far this season. So it's going to be a tough matchup for y'all. I'm going against y'all because I just have more faith in the Browns run game.
Yeah, honestly, I don't blame you there. I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to go with this one. I might stay with my team on this one, though. I want to stay with my team, but for predictions, for the prediction race, I might have to go against us on this one. It's gonna be so close. I don't know which way I'm gonna want to go with this one. Hey, but speaking of tough games, man, your Carolina Panthers, who are 3-0, will face the Cowboys, who are 2-1. What do you guys need to do to win this game?
I believe they need to force the Cowboys to run the ball. The Carolina Panthers have a pretty good run defense, and Dak has been lighting the NFL up, passing the ball so far this season. And it's going to be a test for our secondary regardless. But if you can keep the ball in C cans, I'd rather keep the ball in C cans and have Dak out there throwing the ball 45, 50 times, maybe lighting up our defense. We do get our cornerback, AJ Boye, who we signed up in our season, and we traded for CJ Henderson due to the loss of J.C. Horn in the last game. And I think he will play as well this game. It's definitely going to be a test for the number 1 defense in the Carolina Panthers, who's only allowing 190 yards a game. The Panthers front line, that defense, front 7 is going to force Dak to scramble, maybe make a unforced error. And like you said, for your Vikings, I believe they're going to need to cause a turnover to get things going. The Panthers do lead the NFL through the first 3 weeks with 14 sacks. So making him uncomfortable, making an unforced error will be the key to this game. And offensively, I know we're without CMC. So I know the game plan is going to look a little different. But it's not like they haven't played or have a game plan without CMC because he missed most of the season last year. And now you drafted a backup who can kind of do some of the similar things that CMC does. And that's why they drafted him in Chuba Hubbard. So it'll be interesting to see if they try to make a similar game plan on how to use Chuba the same way they use McCaffrey, or would they use they picked up Royce Freeman right before the season started, or they try to just use him for pass down situations, or they trust him and give him the ball as many touches as it would McCaffrey. But the offensive line is going to also have to hold up too and look kind of shaky these last couple of weeks, especially against the Texans. Once McCaffrey went out, they put a lot of pressure to Sam Darnold and led to a fumble or 2. But like in the NFL, they say next man up. So Chuba gonna have to go out there and just play one play at a time, make a turnover, keep your head up and keep pushing. And Sam's gonna have to distribute that ball a little bit more. Test that Cowboys secondary. I want to trust Trayvon Diggs, so because he's been hooping, he's been balling so far this season, but they have the weapons that can compete in maybe a shootout, depending on how the defenses play. But it's gonna be an interesting matchup for my boy.
Yeah, man. So this is a really close matchup for you guys. Defense will be the key for you guys. You guys are the number 1 defensive team in the NFL right now. You guys are allowing 191 yards per game, and this is according to ESPN, of course. You guys are gonna have to contain Zeke and Tony Pollard. I think if you guys can't contain Zeke and Tony Pollard, it's gonna be difficult for you guys because if you guys can't control Zeke and Tony Pollard, we know you guys are gonna be able to contain Dak Prescott. So if you can't do it, you got to pick one or the other, and I think that's going to be the easier one of the two to do. If like I said, if they don't establish the run game, I think they would just disrupt your defense, and it would just spell trouble for you guys, and that's going to put Sam Darnold in a shootout. And I don't think Sam Darnold is really ready for a shootout. Like this is going to be his first big game. I wonder how he will perform in my mind because I don't know. I might go against y'all for this one. I'm not 100% sure because, like I said, it's his first big game. I went against Matthew Stafford for the exact same reason because it was his first big game. Even though Matthew Stafford, he is a seasoned veteran quarterback with miles on his arm and his legs, and I have a good idea what I'm going to get from him. I don't know what I'm going to get for Sam Darnold pretty much. I mean, you guys are 3-0, so I give him that much credit. But he hasn't been in the shootout yet that I've yet to see or I've yet to have a close look at. So I'm gonna go against you guys for that reason. Just because I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen Dak Prescott in a shootout. I've seen Dak Prescott go into a 2-minute drill and drive the team down and get the game-winning field goal. I've seen those intangibles from Dak Prescott, but I haven't seen those things from Sam Darnold.
Yeah, man, it's like you said, you're kind of iffy about your Browns game. I'm kind of iffy about this game, but hey, defense win championship. So I'm gonna lean on the defense more than the offense this game, even if McCaffrey was playing. So
but who gonna guard CD though?
Hey, it's gonna be interesting because we get AJ Boyd. He hasn't played so far this season, and then we traded for CJ Henderson. So
right.
You still have Dante Jackson. So there's a chance.
Didn't y'all draft a cornerback too?
Jesse Horn, but he just got injured.
Dang.
Yeah.
And then you got
season. He broke his foot.
That's tough. That is tough. And you got who else on the Dallas offensive side? They got another receiver, Mark Cooper. There we go, Mark Cooper. I don't know. I was about to say Michael Gallup. I was like, I know that. I just knew that wasn't right.
He's still on there. I don't know if he got hurt week 1 against the
Bucks. But I was thinking of Mark Cooper. I was like Michael Gallup, but like you're not third of Mark Cooper. Mark Cooper is a good route runner. So you guys are gonna have to try to contain that while trying to contain Zeke and Tony Pollard. I think he really gave y'all some problems because he's that speed back, not a power back.
Yeah, it'd been interesting to see. We did really slow down Kamara in week 2. So maybe we can do the same with Zeke. Zeke is a bigger back though, so it's gonna be an interesting matchup to see how, because we haven't really played an excellent running back besides Kamara, and we shut Kamara down week 1. We played the Jets. They didn't really have a run game. The Texans don't really have a run game, so it's gonna be a test all around for the defense, passing and running.
All right, I completely agree with you. So for the last topic of the day, we got Seahawks versus the 49ers. And honestly, I think this is going to be the game of the week. When we really get down to it, I think this is going to be the game of the week. Last week, Seahawks came up short against the Vikings. Yes, sir. And they will be looking to bounce back as they travel to Santa Clara to take on the 49ers. Who do you got winning this game and why?
I got the Seahawks just for the fact that they took an L last week to your boys, and it wasn't like a game-winning field goal. I think they lost by 13 points. So I
like 17. I think it was like 17 to
30.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So I do believe they're going to bounce back this week against a division opponent who they know.
Yeah, but
and the 49ers have a lot of injuries on the defensive side. They have two corners who are banged up. Kittle's kind of been off and on in practice. He's banged up as well. And they have injuries to the run game, man. If they don't have a run game, that's Kyle Shanahan's whole half the playbook, honestly. So if they don't have a run game, it's going to be very predictable on, what's going to happen next when it comes to play calling. So if they don't have corners to slow down Lockett and Metcalf, it's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly. And they lost Raheem Mostert for the season. Their backup, who they drafted, Elijah Mitchell, he's been kind of banged up. Trey Sermon just came back, but he played Green Bay, and he didn't really look good against Green Bay. And like you said in previous episodes, Green Bay's defense is kind of suspect, and they shut down the 49ers run game and forced Jimmy G to make some throws, made some passes, and that's how Green Bay was able to put that late game victory out. So I do believe the Seahawks will bounce back this week. They have a run game. Chris Carson looks like he's found his groove. The NFL, he's playing well so far to start the season. So I do believe they can contain the offense. They especially don't have a run game. They haven't had a run game since week 1 when Mitchell went off against the Lions, and that's because they weren't expecting Mitchell to play. And that's when Raheem Mostert went down. So, but injuries seem to be killing the league everywhere so far this season, and I don't know what it is, but the 49ers have a lot of injuries, and they don't have good corners to slow down their top receivers.
Yeah. I agree with you, man. I don't know who I'm gonna go with though. That's the tough part. I'm really stuck on who I want to go with. It's really a toss up for me because Jimmy G, he's been playing well. The offense is playing well, and the defense is playing well. Russell Wilson, he's coming off that loss, and I want to say Russell Wilson's going to bounce back, but 49ers defense is pretty good though. I mean, how well is the Seahawks offense this season? I mean, not to try to throw shade on my Vikings, but our defense isn't the best. But we held him to one touchdown. We held him. He threw for 283 yards, and he was only able to get one touchdown. So that's pretty concerning for me. The run game, they haven't really been able to establish it. They rushed for 106 yards against the Vikings, but they allowed us to run 104 yards. And Mike Zimmer is not the offensive guru that Kyle Shanahan is. And Kyle Shanahan, he is really good at designing the run game. He can drop a really good run game play for just about anybody. And we've seen him do that in playoffs before. So I don't know. I just don't know, man. It's gonna be a toss up, but I'm probably gonna go for 49ers though. Most likely gonna go for 49ers in the skin, yeah. I'm thinking 49ers. The Seahawks, they didn't really perform against an average defense. I don't see how they're going to be able to perform against a better defense.
Hey, man, I'm going to go with Seattle. I just got a good feeling about this. I don't know what it is, but I think the receivers is going to – I think Tyler Lockett is going to get back to – beating them deep, 2 touchdowns. Metcalf is going to be Metcalf, making big catches. So it's not going to, it's really hard for a defense to try to bounce back if third and short and you get converted. Now you're on the field for another 4 or 5 minutes. So the defense can be good, but they can't get a stop. And it's nothing really you can do.
Yeah, but my thing is when you get down to towards the end of the game, it's like they said, it's we got a whole game. There's probably an entire game that's going to be 40, 50 drives. It's really the game's going to come down to 4 or 5 drives, right? But in those 4 or 5 drives, I think that the 49ers have a higher chance of getting a interception, a turnover somewhere for the 49ers defense than the Seahawks defense getting a turnover somewhere from Jimmy G. I think that's going to make the difference. I think it's going to be defense, and that's why I'm going to go with the 49ers. I think the 49ers are going to have a way, way better defense and get the stops that they need to get. Last topic right here. The last 2 teams that are 3-0 will be the Rams and the Cardinals. Who you got winning this game and why?
This is a really tough one, regardless of the record. This is a divisional matchup, but I think I'm gonna go with the Cardinals. I think they're gonna steal this game. I think it's gonna be a little too much trying to contain Kyler Murray, scrambling ability, and if he can scramble around, make plays, it's just where he seems to really excel so far this season in the NFL or in just in his career in general. And if he can get away from Aaron Donald, scramble out, making plays, and I just maybe think they can steal one. They also have a run game, so if the run game can get going along with Murray, it's going to give the defense some fits on whether they want to contain Murray or try to stop the run. Trying to stop the run, Murray can pick apart the defense. The Cardinals defense very well as well, too. So they had Chandler Jones, J.J. Watt. They can put pressure in Matthew Stafford's face. The Cardinals defense looks really good so far this season. I mean, they beat the Titans. The Titans have Julio Jones and A.J. Brown. They beat your Vikings, who had Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. So they can slow down the offense. And I believe they can maybe surprise some teams and slow down this high-powered Rams team who lit up the Bucs defense last week. Also, the offense is second in total yards a game with 432 yards. And the pass game is third in the league. So it's going to be interesting to watch this divisional matchup. It's going to be interesting to see D-Hop versus Jalen Ramsey, too.
Yeah, completely agree with you. First of all, the Cardinals didn't stop Jack Diddley's squad against us. Okay? Let's go put that out there. They didn't stop Jack Diddley's squad against it. And I don't think they're going to stop Jack Diddley's squad against the Rams. But I think the Rams, who have a really good defense, and I've really been high on defenses all day, I think the Rams that have a really good defense are going to be able to steal something from Kyler Murray. The Vikings were able to steal something from Kyler Murray. We were able to steal a drive or two in the shootout. And that's why we were able to be so close. I think you got Jalen Ramsey or D-Hop. Like, I don't know who's going to win that matchup, but I think somewhere the Rams are going to be able to get a stop. But I don't have that same confidence for the Cardinals defense to get a stop. So I'm going to go with the Rams on this game for that reason. Last time I went against Matthew Stafford, and he showed that he was legit. I believed he was legit. I just had to see it in that moment. But now he's proved to all the doubters that he really is legit. You know, the last game against the Bucs, like I said, I went against him. But he proved himself. I'm not going to make that same mistake twice. So I'm going to go with Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, but the Rams don't really have a run game, so that's why I'm kind of leaning towards the Cardinals. Their running back has been kind of banged up, even the backup as well. So it might be a shootout, but I think the Cardinals can steal this one.
Yeah, I think it's now that you said, I think it's probably going to come down to who can control the clock. So if they can control the clock, I can see the Cardinals winning. I'm just going to go with the Rams though.
Nothing wrong with that. We'll see. We just have to see.
Yeah, we'll see. Hey, week 4 predictions for me and Sean will come out this afternoon. So guys, stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. It's gonna drop on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you guys have not, join us on the Colorcast app. We want to shout out the Colorcast app for letting us produce a live show every Thursday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 11 o'clock Central Time. I think that's what it is. Yeah. Hey, if you guys haven't gone and hit that like button, it's going to be somewhere up here for the guys that are watching this on YouTube. The episode will be up on YouTube today for our Colorcast listeners. And if you guys, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Twitter is at 100 followers. Instagram is close to 100 followers. So let's get Instagram to 100 followers. I did an article on Josh Gordon going to sign with Kansas City. So if you guys can read that, that's going to be in the description below. And we out.
We out. Thanks for watching and listening.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you guys.